I think I'm streaming, and I don't know. Can you tell me, is this a stream? Are we streaming? Are we live? I don't know. I have no idea. You know what I do know? I know this. You know what I do know? I know that right now I have a functional mouse. Oh, I have a functional mouse. And I don't just have a functional mouse, I have a functional function. And that function, my friends, is to adventure forth into the land of Valheim. The land that is a land full of land. I didn't have a functional mouse yesterday, but I have a functional mouse today. And I honestly think at this point in time that I need more than a functional mouse. I need a controller. I need a controller so bad. I need a controller. I need all the controllers. I need 7,559 controllers. Why don't I have any controllers? I'm digging all these things for stuff. So right here in this dingly-do is where I'm going to build my dingly-do. By that I mean specifically, I'm going to be building a big old castle of some sort here, a fortress. So let's get some stone. When we get stone, we are not just getting rock, we're getting materials of building. And yesterday, what we did, to be very specific, is we got, so we didn't just do the stuff. We also did the things. But what we did is we kind of started to map out and build what would be the future home of our fortress. We created a footprint, and we began digging. We also moved some of our other stuff, a forge, a stone cutting table, a workbench, so that we have the capacity to properly dig out this whole area. Now, to begin building what will be our area. So, so here's kind of like the footprint. We're digging out this big pit. Here's our big pit. It's pit-orific. Hey! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Welcome! I'm glad you're lurking. I'm doing stuff! It's fun! Oh, sorry I didn't notice you sooner. My stuff doesn't always work right. But I had to get a new mouse. So yesterday, my mouse broke. I was gonna stream. I was gonna return to streaming. and my mouse broke. And when my mouse broke, I was so sad. But I'm like, no, I was going to return to streaming. And that's what I was going to do. So now I have to go ahead and do it with a new mouse, which I had to wait because I couldn't get one at the local store, not one that was appropriate for my hands. I don't know if anyone else has this issue, but I have more than a little bit of an issue when it comes to tactile objects. They have to be an appropriate size, an appropriate shape, or else I can't use them. I don't know if anyone else in the world has that issue. I'm so glad you're lurking, though, because we're in Valheim. I have spent roughly 100 hours on this, and I took a really long break from streaming. It was a really, really, really long break. But we are back. We are so back. I have a little bit of a new custom layout, and I have some emotes and some new things that I've done. And I'm really proud because, you know, it's the stuff. But, my marvelous dewdrop, I'm so happy to see you. My voice hurts so much. So, quick story. So yesterday was my birthday, and today I'm continuing on. I hate my birthday. Does anyone out there hate? Does anyone else out there hate their birthday? Like really loathe having to celebrate their own birth? Because my birthday is my least favorite day of the year. And I just kind of like, I try to roll with it, but it doesn't always work. It doesn't always work. And, yesterday I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm here, I got to do something, and I'm going to start streaming again. Because I took a really long break from streaming. And when I say a really long break, I mean months. And in internet time, months is like eons. Like, it's just not even funny how long months ends up being. But you turn around and you're like, oh well, I guess that's the way it is now. So I'm going to level out all of this stuff. I'm gonna have a little drink. Pops. I allow myself like one carbonated beverage a month. And that's probably okay. I don't know. How am I supposed to know what's okay or what's not? But carbonated beverages are really good, and I unfortunately like them too much. So I have like one carbonated beverage a month. But since it's my birthday weekend, I have tons of carbonated beverages. Tons and tons and tons. Oh my goodness. Why do I feel cold? I've only just begun playing today. I do not like that the clock is always on, whether I'm playing or not. Okay, it's not like the clock is always on, but like time is always moving. Time is always moving. And when time is always moving, it's like, oh, I just started playing. I've barely been playing a few minutes, but I need to rest now. And that's malarkey. I like that word, malarkey. So apparently there's monsters about, because I can hear them. There's monsters about, I can hear them. I know that I have to fix this house, because when I sleep in this house, I get really, really cold, or really, really smoky. Because I built the fire pit too close. Because when the game updated, we couldn't So several things have happened since the game updated. One, you had to have the cooking stations directly over top of the directly over top of the fires. Beforehand, you just had to have them near the fire. Now you have to have them directly over top of the fire. That is ridiculous. Two, the smoke physics for this game. So you can see the smoke coming off the fire here. It doesn't flow out. So you have to have a fire near your bed or else you can't sleep. Which, okay, fine. I have to be warm to sleep. I don't have to be warm to sleep. I don't know about you, but I've slept perfectly fine in cold and awful scenarios. But apparently in this game, I have to have the fire close enough to the bed or else I will not sleep. But now the smoke physics is entirely changed, and the fire physics is entirely changed since the recent patches, and I have to have the fire right next to the bed. And that is silly. That's silly. Why do I have to do that? That doesn't make sense. So, for those of you who didn't ever get a chance to watch this, I'm just going to give a quick little understanding. I've been playing Valheim since it came out, and what I did is I ported all of my good gear to a new procedurally generated world, and I have been slowly digging a trench, a tunnel, a secret tunnel, a secret tunnel, secret tunnel. I've been digging a secret tunnel through the world because that's the only way I want to travel anywhere. It makes the game ridiculously difficult for no apparent reason other than because I want it to be. Um, but it's fun, and I also get the chance to do this. So many people build stuff. Like I watched so many videos when this game first came out of people building these ridiculous, huge, beautiful structures, like these amazing buildings and castles and fortresses and houses. And I thought, well, I want to do something like that, but I don't have the skills. I don't. I don't have the skills of top gamers. But do you know what I do have? I have the ability to dig. I have the ability to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig. And that's just what I'm going to do. And, I have fun doing it. I think that's the most important part. Are we having fun? Yes? Okay, then let's play the game. If we're not having fun, why are we playing the game? Why are we having... But the words... I don't do live videos anymore. And, I don't even have my own camera open. But I don't want to have my own camera open because no one wants to see that. No one wants to see that at all. I am going to only open my camera when I've gone ahead and spent hours to make sure my face looks pretty. I'm gonna just dig. So, with a lot of these open world games, especially kind of like these building games, I see a lot of people online who will do stuff, and maybe this is just like the videos I see. And if it's just the videos I see, I understand. But it seems like so many people just go ahead and essentially spoof all the supplies and the stuff they need. And it's like, why would I do that? Why would I want to do that? When instead I could actually work to get all the stuff to build all the things. I don't think that that's fun. To just here's all the materials you need to build all the stuff and all the things. No, I want to make it as hard as possible on myself. I want to make it so difficult. Oh, goodness. And after I gather all this stone and open up this pit, all this, I have to level this all out. And after I level it all out, I don't know how that's gonna work. But I do have to level it all out. So, some of you may have seen online that, I'm sorry, I'm just rambling, but some of you may have seen online that the 17th was my birthday, and I got myself something I have wanted for a really long time. I got myself a wizard pipe, a Gandalf pipe from the Lord of the Rings. I've wanted one for so long. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I got it. And the picture online looks nothing like what I got. Absolutely nothing like what I got. And I thought, like, maybe I should try to get a refund. But I was like, no. You know what? I still got my wizard pipe. I still got it. It's still a really long pipe. Yes, the pictures online do not look like what I got, but I got my pipe. And I wanted one for years and years and years and years and years. Because I just loved, like, when the hobbits and Gandalf were together and they had those really long pipes. I loved those scenes in the movies. I loved all the imagery of it. I thought they were so cool. And I'm like, I want one so bad. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get one. And I saved my money, and I purchased one of these pipes, and what I got did not look at all like the pictures. At all. Like, nothing at all like the pictures. And I was partially sad. I opened up the box, I'm like, oh yay, so exciting, and then I saw what I got. And, that, like, long story short, I was just really disappointed, but at the same time, I'm like, but I've wanted one of these for so many years. How can I be disappointed at this? How can I be upset when I finally got one? When I finally got one, you know what? Even if it doesn't look like the pictures, even if it doesn't look like Gandalf's pipe, I still finally have a wizard pipe. A hobbit pipe. Why should I be upset? And that's kind of like the I guess the mindset that I'm going with on this. Because there's so many things in life that I never got that I wanted. I never got them. And I finally went ahead and like, this is something I've wanted for a really long time. And I got it, and it wasn't at all what I expected. But it almost seemed right. It almost seemed appropriate. That essentially I got something wrong. So forgive my rambling. I ramble a lot. I don't know. I think that's why I have such a hard time keeping people watching. Because I do silly things that are not how the game was designed to be played. And I ramble. But tell me that isn't a satisfying sound. Like, just smashing rock. a satisfying sound. Oh my goodness, I have the hiccups. I have bad hiccups. So we're gonna get out this. Because I need to level all this ground off now. This is one of those games where they do not make it easy to, like, make anything level. But the biggest issue is I needed to get as much stone as possible. And as soon as I got enough stone as possible, then I could actually start building. I mean, it wasn't just digging everything out. It was a big issue of, like, I couldn't build without a nice, proper stone foundation. Oh my goodness. And, just as an unconnected thought, so I've been doing on Threads D&D campaigns. So Dungeons and Dragons adventures and campaigns and storylines with trying to, like, make a proper continuous storyline and campaign. And I've been doing it in, like, my own comment section. Now, this has been unbelievably fun. But there are moments where it's like, can we all just respond? No matter where you are, no matter what game you're playing, getting people to respond, getting people to, like, interact, to do their part, sometimes feels so unbelievably difficult. But seriously, like, how come no matter where I play, whether it's in, like, a big group or a small group of friends, like, how come it's always so hard to keep a group of people playing? I know this is not news to anyone. Like, I'm not a silly person. I understand. It's not news. We all struggle. But, like, this is fun. I I know that like kind of these crafting building games are not necessarily fun for everyone. I know this is categorized also as a survival game, but like this is fun. Like here I am, I'm building a foundation for a fortress. Of course, I'm outside of the stone cutter range. Building radiuses in these games are the most annoying thing. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. Oh, I'm out of stone. No! No, I have no stone. So now I have to go get more stone. See, look at this giant pit I built, and I'm out of stone already. What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? It's foolishness. Oh goodness. This is insane. But I do have another square that I had already marked out for the other part of the building. So maybe I just need to start digging that out, and then it'll give me even more stone. I need so much stone. I need so much stone. I need so much. But I do really appreciate all of those people who come to join my who come to join my streaming now that I have once again started streaming. Like, I took such a long break. But, you know, sometimes you have to, right? Sometimes you have to take breaks from things, even if you enjoy them, because your mind starts to get overwhelmed. All of that digging, and I only got 6 stone. Oh my goodness. And I've used half of my pickaxe? You are kidding me. You are kidding me. Oh my goodness. Okay. So let's go back all the way to our main base. Oh goodness. We're gonna go all the way back to our main base, and we're gonna repair things, and we're gonna rest. And whoever makes these day-night cycles for games, I understand that part of that is like for simplicity, how quickly it moves. but having a day last 20 minutes is foolishness, and I just want you all to know that. Like, why does a day last 20 minutes? That's foolishness. Oh, goodness. So, we're going to repair some things. Okay, that's repaired. And then we're going to take a moment, if the game will let us, and we'll sleep. It needs a fireplace next to it, of course it does. So we're going to walk all the way back over to our other camp. As soon as we get back over to our other camp, as soon as we get over, words need to come out of my face. As soon as we get back over to our other camp, we are going to sleep. Ooh, and I have more raspberries that have grown. Yay! Raspberries! Oh, goodness gracious. And I'm already smoked out. Why am I already smoked out? Look at the fog. Hold on, let me get up here. Look at the fog out there. Isn't that beautiful? That's absolutely gorgeous. All right. So these are the things. So let me pop my map open, okay? So here's my world. It's huge. It's big. And you can see how much of it I've explored. And here I am, and I have all of this stuff. I got my backup gear depot. One of the biggest things that I'm doing so you can see up on the map, there's that day 109. So I left that loss of life marker there. And one of the biggest reasons I left that there is because that was one of the biggest issues I had in this game. Was this moment where I got stuck so bad. Because of course when you are incapacitated, when your life is when your life subscription is expired, you have to go back to where you expired to get your equipment and your gear. And I got stuck on that little 109 marker for the longest time, where days and days and days and days of game time passed, where I couldn't get back there to get my stuff, and it took forever. So I've been digging this long, ridiculous, stupid, foolish trench all the way over to 109, and I managed, actually. So I have a trench that goes from the troll cave and walls, of course, all the way to this outpost that I'm at right now. So I have dug a trench halfway there. And now I'm building this big fortress. Why am I building this big fortress, you might ask? Because I'm a fool? Because I think I deserve a fortress? I don't know. But what I do know is this. If I can dig this fortified tunnel, if I can build my secret tunnel, all the way to 109, then I will have a defensible position to fight the ice drakes and wolves that I cannot fight in one-on-one combat. They're so ridiculously tough. But I'm having trouble even getting enough stone to build defensible walls to continue building this fortress. So what in the world am I supposed to do? So I'm going to dig a hole here. I might have to abandon stonework and go to woodwork and earthwork, because like I have 11 stone from all this mining that I've done. 11 stone. Why am I doing this game the hardest way possible? Why am I not doing it the easiest way possible? Why am I not making sense of all of this? It's malarkey. And now I gotta get rid of this big rock right here that's in the middle of my drawn out plan for my fortress. You know, my fortress is going to be absolutely gorgeous. It's going to be a beautiful fortress. It's going to be a wonderful fortress. It's going to be the fortress that everyone wishes they had. But it's not even going to be where I need my biggest fortress to be. And if I can't manage to do this, what am I doing? Why am I doing all of this? It's madness. This is all madness. And then there's just like random stones that I can pick up. Why are there random stones I can pick up all over the ground? I've been doing all this digging so I can make the perfect fortress. And there's just random stones on the ground. I'm gonna look at the sky. So unrelated to all of this, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna cut down some trees. So one of my rescue cats. I'm gonna completely jump subjects. One of my rescue cats, Bam Bam. He was born on Easter morning. He's the sweetest boy. He was born right on my deck. His mom was dropped off, and him and the rest of his brothers and sisters were born on my deck on Easter morning a few years ago. So Bam Bam got out of the rescue area. So where the houses and everything for the cats are, he got out, he escaped. And he was gone for 2 weeks. And I was petrified. Bam Bam was gone for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Do you know how long that is? For someone who takes care of cats, to have a cat just disappear? Weeks he was gone. This morning he shows up. He showed up this morning like a little turd and meowing at me and being like, I love you, give me love, I want all your love. And of course I gave Bam Bam all the love in the world, but he had been gone for 2 weeks. I don't know where he's been. I don't know what he's been doing. I was worried sick about this cat. Like, number one, how do you escape the houses? Like, the whole shelter area for the rescue cats. How do you escape? And why am I not picking up the stone? Oh, it's because I'm carrying too much. Son of a gun. How do I have all of this wood, but I don't have stone? How does cutting down 3 trees get me all of this wood, but I don't have enough stone? I don't understand. What I do understand though is just to kind of like complete a thought. Bam Bam worried me sick. Worried me sick. And then he just shows up at my door, meowing, begging for love and food. And I'm like, Bam Bam, where have you been? And he just says, meow, 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 meow. And I'm like, but Bam Bam, where have you been? Meow, 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 meow. And I'm like, that's not an answer, Bam Bam. Why did you escape? You're fixed, so you can't be like doing anything inappropriate with other cats. Where have you been? And of course, Bam Bam tells me nothing because he's a cat. Oh my goodness. Building a foundation for this fortress is going to take so long. And then building all of the stone walls to go upward to build this castle is going to take forever. Forever. And I know that there's cheats, and I know that there's codes, and I know there's unlimited resource things and mods I can put in. But I don't want to do that. I want to actually build all of my stuff. I want to make all of these things. I don't know. Maybe I'm silly. But look at this enormous hole I dug, and I can only build that much stone floor? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense at all. I should do some adventuring. But I also have all this wood. I have all this wood, so I should really build some things, right? I don't know. Oh, maybe I should fight some monsters. I should repair all of my stuff, though, because all of my stuff is... Like, these games are so tough. I understand why people use mods. And I understand why people use, like, the codes and everything to, like, give them unlimited supplies and building possibilities. But at the same time, I want to play the game as it was designed, and I also would just want to try to see what's possible. It's so hard. Ooh, but on a side note, I recently made a new emote for my channel, which was based off one of the drawings from my comic strip, Violet and Luna. So there's now an Audrey emote, so it's an Audra emote. And I was really proud of myself. I tried to turn the channel points into things too, but I don't have all the built-in, like, not software, like alerts and everything. I don't have all that stuff built in yet. I've been doing this for years, and I'm so behind compared to some people. And I know that's not necessarily a bad thing. Everyone does stuff their own progress. But, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I just think that sometimes we should do things at our own rate. I'm gonna sing to myself. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sing to myself. I don't play games that are, like, currently popular. I play games that are fun. And I know that that's a bad thing. I play games that are fun for me, and I have a million things going on. Like, I'm currently working on my next novel, and I'm working on a comic strip, and I have a whole studio full of half-finished paintings, and then I stream, and I rarely put up new videos on YouTube. So, ooh, that's a bad word. I'm not supposed to say that, am I? Oh, no. But, you know what I mean. Look at all these deer. Ooh, got one. What do you mean no room in my inventory? Because I have two different kinds of arrows. Hold on, let's eat that. There we go. Now there's room in my inventory. Yay! for a deer trophy. That's okay. I can cook up all this meat. I have new deer hide. And I have a bunch of wood. And we can take a moment to cut down some trees. Because I do need to clear a lot of space for all the things I'm building. I like this monster just randomly runs up, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fight you. No, you're not. You're not gonna fight me. I'm going to cut you down. I'm gonna cut you down. Oh my goodness, I swear to goodness. Oh, I'm cold. Of course I'm cold. I have to take a sleepy. I have to take a sleepy. See what I mean though? I already have to sleep again. Like, the day-night cycles in these games are ridiculous. I want to play games like this, like survival style games, where we can do stuff like this. I want to play them and I want to have fun doing them. But what I don't want, what I absolutely do not want, is I don't want the game to just be like, oh yeah, well, it's already night. And essentially, if you played an entire evening, like an entire evening is 10, 15 days. No, no, we don't want that. Who came up with this idea? Okay. So, I have some more stone. I have some more. I have a lot of wood. I have 140 of the normal wood. And then I have 8 of the fine wood. I could build a bunch of stuff right now, but if I do that now, I don't know. Like, I don't wanna. I don't wanna waste all of that doing. And I'm already out of stone. I'm already out of stone. No, no. I'm already out of stone. And I I barely built anything. No. Oh, now I have to go down here and get rid of this grayling. Because he can't just stay out of my place that I'm building. Ah. I mean, I guess I could, like, dig through into the tunnel space, but if I dig through into the tunnel space, I'm just opening up more space that I have to build stuff into. Grr. 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 So what we'll do is we'll open up the entrance more, because I do need more space to build, like, an arch and an entryway. But I have the forge set up, and I have the craft table set up, and I have the stone cutting table set up. So probably, if everything goes the way it should, I mean, I should be able to, like, oh, there we go, that's good. So now I can get to the temporary base. Ooh, and actually I need to go ahead and then build a little platform. Nope. Not that. And of course there's a grayling down here now, right? The monsters always come when you're trying to do stuff. Like, that's just the way it is, right? But oh goodness. Now I have to figure out, like, I don't, so there's this silly thing in the game where it can turn off automatic pickup. V. And when you're fighting, you accidentally turn it off all the time. I swear to goodness. Whew, they do not make this easy, do they? Oh, and I'm out of stone. No! No! I'm out of stone! Oh my goodness. I've barely done anything. But I've also done so much. Why? Why have I done so much? Okay, so we have this big gap here. I got my stairs down there. Let's get all this wood. We need all this. Alright. All of this work, and I've barely done a gosh darn thing. A gosh darn thing. A thing of the gosh darns. Let's look at the sky. I think that's a good idea. We're going to look at the sky for a moment. Which gives me a second. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. So, every day I come on here, I'm going to get further along in this goal. But it's so hard. It's so hard to do. And what I think is necessary is I need to do one of the following two things. I need to either A, find people who will jump into Valheim with me to help me do these crazy ideas, or B, I need to do more non-stream videos. This is exhausting to do on stream just because there's so many things to do. There's so many things to do. Because I've barely been streaming that long at all. I've been digging and building for an hour. And that is wild. And yesterday I did it for 2.5 hours. But then I had to get offline because I needed a new mouse. Which I found a new mouse. I got a new mouse. I got one today. So I don't know if I should like try to do more off stream, or if I need to find people to help, or if I just need to like buckle down and do like all day streams or like several hour long streams. But if I do that, like, I need to know that I'm not just being a silly Billy. And that's really what it comes down to. Because it could be. Oh, I love this view. Like, look at that right there. It could be absolutely silly to do, like, several hour long streams where I'm just running around and digging holes. Because I've done this before. I've done it before, and it's fun for me. Oh. I had the most American thing possible for dinner. I had stuffed crust pizza. It's so angry at me. So angry. My pizza is furious inside my body. So, I have no core wood. I do have wood. But I do need to start adding things like, you know, supports before we start going up much higher. So let's go ahead and start adding those now. Because I'm going to need those once I start to get vertical, because even with the stone walls, you do need wood beams and things like that. Like, you know, so like structural stuff. And even though I don't need one just yet. Oh, I have no stone to build this with? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. I was gonna build a fire pit down here so I could just keep building for a little bit with this stone, with the wood beams. But I guess I need to go rest and then fix all my stuff. Actually, before I get too far along, let's check our beehive. There we go, we have some honey. honey for tomorrow. Yeah, I'll stand next to the fire until I stop being wet, because apparently I'm wet and I can't sleep when I'm wet. There are points in this game where I just go, you can totally sleep during that. Hachi machi. Particle board and cheese sauce. Like, I get it that technically sleeping when you're wet is not safe in the outdoors. But, like, I have a whole 100% slept being wet. And I've slept outdoors. I slept outdoors on a trampoline one time. In the middle of the woods. You can sleep in weird conditions. Why can this warrior not sleep when they're wet? Hold on. I need to get this really quick. Oh, goodness. Sorry, I'm just doing some stuff in the background. I apologize tremendously. I'm very sorry. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm sorry. We all know that I'm not truly sorry. I mean, when you go ahead and you play a game, you sometimes gotta do stuff in the background and make things make sense, so I'm sorry. Speaking of which, I gotta do something really quick. I think that'll sound better. While I'm at it, save my game. Save my game. Save my game. Oh my goodness. Thinking. So let's take a look at what I do have on me. I have 4 stone. I have loads of wood. Look at all this wood. I should build something. No, I shouldn't build anything. I gotta stop thinking like that. Do we have room in one of these that I can put some of this extra wood? Okay, we're gonna put that there. But look, ooh, I have all that stone. Now I have even more stone. Yay. Let's put this extra wood here. I'm carrying far too much wood. But now I have extra stone. Yay! part of me wants to take, like, the dozens of videos I have of me playing Valheim and make an enormous, like, compilation video with, like a high speed. I don't know. You know what I mean, right? Like, just get it so my whole, like, the hours and hours and hours and hours of video that I have are, like, condensed either into, like, one really quick high speed video, or are turned into, like, one big long video. I don't know. I'm just thinking. I'm already out of stone again? No! Balderdash! Bandersnatch and Balderdash, I'm already out of stone again. This game does not provide you with enough stone for all the digging you do. Oh, digging a hole, digging a hole. Secret tunnel, secret tunnel. Tunnel for no reason. Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel, secret tunnel. I'm digging a hole. Secret tunnel, secret, 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 secret. Okay. Oh, hey guy. Now you're dead. Why did you attack me? That was foolishness. That was so foolish. The foolishness of you. Okay, so I have an exit ramp, which I will need. Oh, of course I have to go back and fix my thing now. Ooh, 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 hold on first before I do. Raspberries. Ooh, raspberries. Just those two bushes? That's good enough. Alright. Okie dokie. Yeah, I think this game should be played on a controller. After many months, many actually years of playing this, I think this should be played on a controller. I just don't have a controller to hook up, or a proper keyboard to use, or a proper mouse. All of my equipment is poor and full of bees. But that's okay because sometimes that's the way life is. Okay, so let's think for a moment. Because we are making progress, it's slow and painful and cheesy. I need a whole new desk setup. That's actually something that I realistically should put some energy into. Let's take a look at what my inventory is. So I have more stone, so I can put some more of the foundation in, which is good. I have meat that I need to cook. Pretty much everything is repaired except for my cloak, which does have mild damage. And this torch, which I don't think I can fix torches. I think you just have to use them until they're done. But my cloak I can only fix on a better repair station than what I have. At least in this area. I have to either go back to my original base, or I have to expand on the equipment that I have available in my new base. I don't know. What do I do? What do I do? Chat, what do I do? Do I become a toad man? And live in a swamp? Do I become a toad man? It's some sort of giant toad monster full of toads. I wish I should do? I'm already out of stone. I'm already out of stone. You are fazzazzling me. You're fazzazzling me. I get wood like nobody's business. I have a bunch of wood. How can I not get stone like nobody's business? How can I not get stone like nobody's business? How can I not get stone like nobody's business? I should probably eat some stuff. So I have some honey, I'll have some of that, a raspberry, and I'll have a little deer meat. I really need to cook the rest of my stuff. The hardest thing about this isn't necessarily the gathering of stuff, but the reallocation of stuff. Like I don't get it. I don't understand how the real. I don't get understand. I don't understand how the reallocation of stuff works. I can get like 6 stone digging a big old hole, but it takes 6 stone to make a floor. That doesn't make sense. So, if anyone would like to see me play a storyline game tomorrow, make a chicken noise in the chat, or fill all. I want like how many emojis can you get in there? How many emotes can you get in there? You got a bunch of emotes. Do you want to make some emotes? Because I have storyline games, and I could play one of those tomorrow. If anyone wants to see that. As opposed to just being a silly Billy that digs trenches all day. I can dig trenches all the live long day, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're happy to watch me dig trenches. Do you want to play me? What? What? Do you want to see me play a storyline game? Or are you full of strong desires to be part of an adventure of your own? Because I'm currently playing various D&D storylines, on threads in comments, and you could be like, hey, I wanna play him, I wanna play him in real life. That's an option. That's an option. If I could get like 2 or 3 people who want to play Dungeons and Dragons on Twitch, I would grab a hold of you and I would love you to pieces. Bits and pieces. So we need more stone. I have some of my wood supports here, which are gonna be really important as we slowly build this big old castle. And this big old castle, this fortress, it's not just that side; it's this side also. So this is the other side of it. Now, in the middle, in these wooden barricades, are my crafting tables that I need to build stuff. So I have my stone cutting table, my forge, and my carpentry. Not my workshop table. My basic crafting table. So I have my basic crafting table, my forge, and a stone cutter inside those little barricades. But I need them inside there because the monsters actually will actively target those and attack those. And if any of my amazing friends want to join me for these silly tunnel digging, fort building adventures, there is a password to join me in this fun little world that's been generated for me by Valheim, and I would totally give you that stuff if you wanted to join me. If for some reason someone out there was like, you know what, I want to join you. I want to join you doing this stupidness. You're so stupid. You smell like beans. Not good beans either, like the bad beans. Look at that Valheim moon. That is a good Valheim moon. Okay, so we're almost up to 2 hours, so I'm going to play for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to get off for a little bit. Because I have to feed my cats and generally kind of be a human being for a little bit, right? Be a human being for a little bit. Because it's almost 8 o'clock at night. So feed the cats, be a human being. And maybe I'll get on after that, but I can't guarantee you that. What I will guarantee you is that I will be back on tomorrow. But I need to know, do you want to watch me play a storyline adventure game? Do you want to watch me eat my own fingers? Do you want a bag of pretzels? Alright, first things first. We're going to take a quick rest, which should get us to the next day. You lie on the battlefield dreaming, eyes turn towards the sky veiled by smoke, the calls of the warrior refrainer. I can't read that all in time every time I see it. Alright, so now it's the next day. We're on day 188. look at that. There's more honey in here already? Heck yeah. Let's actually see. So right now I have 7 honey. I need more bees. I do need more bees, and I need to build another hive. Yeah, I need to build another hive. Because honey is actually one of the better foods in this game. I just don't know. Yeah, bees are one of those things that they're not easily predictable where you're going to find them. We're going to take a minute to cook some food, though. You know, skill improved cooking 1. I should have far more than 1. How is my cooking only 1? I cook all the time. Now we gotta wait for that other one to cook up. There's a fun noise that it makes when it's done. So you can't just like throw it on there and then walk away. Because if you do, you'll just burn it. Much like real life. If I walk away from the stove, I will burn my food. Do you like this bridge I made? Look at this. Look at this fancy bridge. I made that all by myself. Now, I could go into this trench, which I stopped digging, so that I could build the mini fortress and then branch off into trench 2. Or I could not concern myself with baby trench. I don't know. There's so many questions. Like, what's the right choice? So I have this base here with like houses inside the trenches. I have my various walls. I have my outposts. Like, I have built so much stuff. Oh, and I fell into one of my trenches. Which is actually one of the big reasons that I built them, is because monsters will fall into them. Like, and I have all these fires that I can light up at any time. And these doors, so that if monsters get into the wrong spots, they'll be stuck. Ooh, look at that troll. Oh my goodness, this would be a terrible idea. Oh! And that's how you do something dumb. But I had a few good arrow shots first. I had a few good shots with the bow and arrow. You know, but I make mistakes. I make mistakes now and again. No skill drain. Woo! That was dumb, though. I shouldn't have done that. I like that as I walk closer to certain things, like my various structures come into view. Come on. Oh, that troll's still there, too. Patrolling around my body. Look at it. Think it sees me? I guess realistically all I have to do is grab my stuff and then run away. So let's go ahead. We're going to eat that really quick just for the stamina and the health. No, 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 no. And this is why I build trenches. Oh my goodness. I bet I could kill it though. true. No room in my inventory for coins. Well, let's get rid of that. So, I guess here's the long and the sherbally. Ooh, a copper deposit. Yes, I need copper. Oh, goodness. Yeah, we're gonna get rid of that. And then we'll take copper. Yeah. I don't understand how this belt works because for a moment it showed me 600 and then that went down immediately. Oh, goodness. Well, at least we found something useful. Finally. Okay, we'll come back to this. Oh my goodness, I just destroyed my own door. Oh, God. But this is why I made all of these, you know? Because I needed to protect my camp. The trenches not only have proved their use, but they are potentially even more useful in hindsight. Alright, we'll rest again momentarily because I did just do a bunch of fighting. But let's go ahead and talk for a second. Because I need your input. I need it. I desperately desire your input. Not just for fun things like, ooh, fire good. Or how should I build this tunnel? Or in which direction should I dig? Or do I dig a hole? I need your input on whether or not tomorrow I should play more Valheim or if I should play a game with a storyline. Now, there's tons of people out there playing games that you know, games that you don't know. I want to replay a game called Dream, which I 100% could do. Or I could download a new game. Do you want me to download a new game? Do you want a new game for tomorrow? I need to know. I need to know the things you want, the things you desire. I need to know them. Would you like to see me play something weird tomorrow? Or would you like more Valheim? I'm sure that some of you have never seen the myriad of trenches that I have dug in this landscape, but there's trenches connecting all of these main things here. And you already know that the trenches go up for a ways past the outpost. Past this outpost. Because that's where we were, up here. Now we want to dig all the way to day 109, which, you know, was 80 days ago in the game. But where do you want to see me go? What do you want to see me do? You have to tell me. You have to tell me the words and the things and the stuff and the love. I need your love. I need your love and your beans and perhaps even some squishy tarmac. But I need to go feed my cats and then be human for a little bit. But after that, I may stream again tonight. I may not. And all of the videos, yesterday's video and today's video, are going to end up on my Tube of the U. My Tube of the U will get these. Now, for those of you who follow me everywhere else, there is a Your Saturday Night Tube of the U, but there's also a Robot Queen Studios, and that is my second oldest YouTube channel. So on that channel, the Tube of the U, Tube U, Robot Queen Studios, I put these videos. And on Your Saturday Night, there's going to be art videos and nature videos and blah, 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 blah. So, if you want to see all of the shenanigans, you can go to both, but you're going to see a lot of different kinds of shenanigans. I have multiple Tube U's. tubes of you. And all of them have different things. Some have short film work, some have art, some have paintings, some have tabletop gaming and video games. And all of them have my sincere love for each and every one of you. Now, I am rested, I am resting, I am sheltered, I have fire. I have the incredibly inspecific effect strength belt. But I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna go feed my cats, spend a little time with them. Bam Bam, my sweet baby boy, needs love and attention. And I love every single one of you. So thank you for being here. I'm going to depart for a little while. But I want to talk to you about some things. Some things and some stuff first before I go. One, the picture down in the corner of the screen, that's Audrey, one of my characters from my new comic that I'm working on. And you can find that at Mackenzie's Tavern on the gram. Mackenzie's Tavern on the gram. And I'm going to be doing more of that stuff. I actually have a bunch more pictures already drawn. It takes so long to hand draw a comic book, especially when I'm writing a new novel, I'm finishing another novel, I'm editing to re-release all of my old novels, and I have a bunch of paintings I've been doing. And on top of that, I have a day job. I also have a night job. Because that's life, isn't it? That's life. But I want to start streaming more regularly again. So yesterday for my birthday and today this little extra bonus, they are going to be followed up by another stream tomorrow, and then probably the next stream will be Monday. But keep apprised. Keep your eyes on the prize. And I'm going to be putting new emotes up. There is actually an Audrey emote already from my hand-drawn webcomic. So Audrey actually already has her own emote if you are a follower. And then there's going to be some new subscriber emotes. I have channel points actually active now, and they're called Nightcoin. And I will try to make better use of that stuff. But I would like to say thank you to each and every single one of you for being the absolute bestest in the world. Thank you specifically to Lottie for dropping in today. Because you're awesome, and I love watching you play games, and I love joining your streams. So thank you for dropping in today. And this VOD will be put up on the Tube of the U in the next few days, along with yesterday's VOD and tomorrow's VOD once it's done. I don't know if tomorrow is going to be Valheim, or if it's going to be another game, or if I'm going to do painting streams again. If I do painting streams again, I'm going to try to make sure those are scheduled specific streams, because I really like painting for a live audience. It's a lot of fun. It makes me happy. But otherwise, thank you. If I don't come back on to stream again today, you will see me again soon, tomorrow. Alright? Thank you so much. Take care. You are all the most beautiful people in the world, and I adore you. I adore each and every one of you. I love you and 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 you. Bye bye, everybody.